Oh, thank you, everybody. Sorry, I got this. Thank you very much. I see some folks are still here from the previous bill, and a couple of folks, previous bills rather, which shows there's a continuity, I think, of mission and purpose and intent from the legislature with these bills, and so they complement one another, I think, very, very nicely. Um, the all of the bills in a certain sense are related to children, but in a way that that is to say to juveniles, but in a way that is not necessarily always taken into account because the circumstances, at least in a couple of instances addressed in these bills, affect safety, they affect health, they affect conditions and circumstances that subject young men and women, particularly women, young women, to conditions that could lead them into very, very difficult circumstances where literally their lives might be at stake. So these are very, very important, and I think are related to one another as a result. The first 2853, forgive me if I extend my remarks a little bit about it, because some people may be here on one bill but not necessarily familiar with the others and why we're doing them in combination. But 2853, this allows exemptions from the 2 resident limit for certified adult foster homes for adults with disabilities. Now this sounds a little bit esoteric and highly contextualized, and in some respects it is. But precisely for those reasons, it's an extraordinarily important bill because it recognizes that simply by achieving the age of 18, that the conditions and circumstances that are special to the people involved don't change. It's not as if a birthday is some magical rite of passage that ensures changes in those conditions, changes in the life circumstances of those with disabilities who are in foster situations, foster care situations, and become 18. It permits the certification as adult and child foster home to accommodate a child, a young person who becomes 18. Everyone deserves to have a stable, loving place to call home. And this legislation recognizes that that may be very, very difficult for some people in these circumstances, in these conditions. They will not be forced now by law to leave a home that is in fact a home, and not just a shelter, not just a place to stay, but a home with all that that means to each and every one of us who wants the security of a home. And it allows the Child Welfare Service to provide appropriate and supportive placement and appropriate and supportive services to continue past the age of 18 in adult and child foster homes. The second is relating to Project Kealahou. Not everyone may be familiar with that. I was not familiar with it until my wife brought it to my attention, and we were able to have, and some of the legislators in this room brought it to my attention. Roz and others have been a key in not just recognizing what Kealahou does, but the necessity for it, and the partnership with this nonprofit. I almost said agency, but it isn't. A nonprofit doesn't really do justice to it. This is a commitment by the community, by members of the community that recognize the particular conditions and circumstances that are associated with this. And I'm going to ask Rita to speak a little bit more on this when we get to the signing. As I say, my wife brought it to my attention, and we had a reception at Washington Place in recognition of what had been done. And I had not fully grasped until I met some of the young women and some of the adults who understand what the critical circumstances that these young women faced and are facing. And there's been, let me put it this way, it's trauma-based. The program is trauma-based. And what constitutes that trauma is an individual story every time. Each story is different, yet each story is the same. I hope that makes sense to you. It's paradoxical, it's not contradictory. And federal funds have been able to handle it up to this time, and it became apparent to me, and obviously apparent to our legislative friends, that we needed to step in and take hold of our responsibilities and opportunities to be supportive of this program. Over the past 3 years, the numbers I have are at least 150 young women perhaps have had their lives saved. And by that I mean not necessarily literally physically, although that might be a part of it, but they've had their lives saved in the sense that conditions have been established psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise for them to be able to get hold of their lives in a way they might not otherwise have had the opportunity. So this is currently only in limited areas of Oahu right now, and what I'm hoping is that with the signing of this bill and the implementation of a legislative imprint with the project, that it will be as successful all around Oahu, and that we can expand it to the neighbor islands as well, and as quickly as possible. It takes me back to the time when we first began our Healthy Start program a couple of decades or more now ago, and we didn't have shelters for abused spouses and children at the time. That began, and that was very limited at the time, and there was nothing in it for the neighbor islands at all. And so we want to change that. So this, I think, is part and parcel of all of that. Thank you for your indulgence in letting me go on a bit about it, but I'm sure everyone here who knows about the program is very, very committed to it. And then finally, on the health and safety side of things, and we need to be acutely aware of that here in Hawaii because we sell sunshine, among other things, and we certainly sell Hawaii as a travel and tourist destination, and it's associated in everybody's mind with the sea and surf and fun and relaxation and happy times. But like everything else in life, moderation is always a good idea. And the idea that young people may not be fully aware of the dangers of tanning as a preoccupation, not as an aspect of a vacation for which you are hopefully well prepared with sunblock, but rather the tanning salons that some people take advantage of and make their decisions as adults about that and the risks associated with that. Nonetheless, we don't want that kind of temptation to be or opportunity to be made for children, anybody under the age of 18, and because they may not be fully aware of what the risks and the dangers are long term from that. And Representative Takayama has taken the lead on this, and I'm very pleased to be able to have the opportunity to sign that bill today. The link to melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, and other acute damage to eyes and skin is something that those of us who are fair complected are very much aware of as adults. And I only wish when I had been younger that I had had better information at that time about what I needed to do to protect myself from that. But this is no respecter of persons, the question of melanoma and that. Anybody, in fact, anybody, everybody is a potential victim in this regard. So we certainly don't want to add to that possibility by not addressing the question of juveniles. So this regulation is necessary, I think, to protect the health and welfare, literally, and wellness of our young people. So I'm going to ask all the legislators to come up right now for the signing, if you will. And I'm fully cognizant of the importance of each bill, but I thought, Rita, that perhaps because of the unique circumstances associated with Project Kealahou, that you might say a word or two about the bill, its introduction and its passage.
Well, I think this is a very important measure. Anytime that you watch TV or you walk around in Honolulu, you see the impact of violence. And some of those violence are committed by young people, homelessness, soldiers with PTSD. I think Project Kealahou addresses the invisible wound, the invisible trauma that people go through. And it takes a special group of people, special group of professionals to recognize those. So I think the passage of this bill, I want to give gratitude to the chair of Health, both the House and the Senate, for passing this through, and the appropriation committees on both houses, because they had the weight of the seriousness of this matter that's going on in our society, that they work hard to pass this bill. And I'm sure also the advocates realize the importance of mental health. So thank you, Governor, for recognizing us as well. Not just the legislature, but all the advocates, because it's our safety net. It's all of us. It's all our people that can benefit from it, not just the victims. So thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Developmental Disabilities Bill of Adult Foster Homes, 2853. Very good. And Project Kealahou. And the tanning bill. Very good.